You know what, it's a really nice day outside, but I'm stuck inside making my website, so I thought I would make a little video as well about a recent purchase I made for a very old lens. It's really good coffee, by the way. See, I don't know if I like soy milk or almond milk more. I think the soy milk's like the more commercial side, almond at home, yeah, so almond milk. A couple of years ago, I bought a camera lens on eBay. This was back in the day when I was shooting loads of film cameras. I worked in a printing lab, so I could just wander in and say, hey, this film, please print for free. I don't have that on it anymore. I live in a different city. I don't do the job. You know, the people who work there don't know me, so I can't be like, just let me have a film. But I bought something called a Helios lens. Helios being a manufacturer of lenses back in like the USSR days, like Russia, pre-90s, and they would do knockoffs of different camera lenses and stuff, and one of the most popular ones is this one here. Now on the inside it says Helios 442. It's a 58mm f2 lens. That's about it really. It's a little janky little thing, it shakes. Don't know if you can hear that. It's gone through the war a little bit, hopefully not a literal war, but I had it for about a year and a bit and I actually gave it away. The reasoning behind that was that I could not easily put this on my camera at the time, which was the Canon 6D. I couldn't easily focus with it. Although it would fit with a cheap adapter, there'd be no focus confirmation, there'd be the occasional beep when, you know, the middle focus point is in focus, but that was about it. So it was so hit and miss I couldn't rely on it. But I sold it to my mate Scott, who kept it in his bag for a long time. When I bought my new camera, the Fujifilm X-T3, which I'm filming on, I noticed that if you put it in manual mode, you can have focus peaking, which is a great big help. It's something I never had before. So I went out, I bought myself one of the cheap adapters you can get online. This would be the Gobe or Gobe M42 to X mount. This is a little screw thready adapter to go onto my screw thready lens. And when you combine them together like some kind of weird transformer, it's like two lenses in one now. Let me check that out. Once you have that on there, you whack it on your mirrorless little Fuji camera and you can actually focus with it. And so I bought it back off him. I paid him the same price he paid me for the lens. It was £50. It's not exactly the worst amount of money in the world, is it? But I bought it off him, £20 for the adapter as well, and now I've got myself a nice little 58mm lens. I mean, it's not 58mm, you have to times that by 1.5 when you put it on a Fuji because of the smaller sensor. So really I've got a nice telephoto lens, not very much. But you're probably wondering why I'm talking about it is because the image quality that comes out of it is so good. Now good is a very decisive word, it's a very objective word. I would happily say that the 56mm prime lens that Fuji sells for a couple of £100 is better. Better because it's sharp at focusing and it will work without you having to move it manually like this one. But I think this is better in a more artistic sense. The way that the lens renders the out of blurry backgroundiness of pictures. Some of you call it bokeh. I refuse to mention that word whenever I can because I think it's an overused kind of concept, a bourgeois concept. Yeah, it renders the background blurry bits kind of really swirly. It's really interesting. Something that you've only seen on kind of those lens babies, you know, those cheap but really expensive camera lenses that they sell. Kind of like you got a £1,500 camera, but let's put a piece of plastic on the front and charge you a couple of £100 for that. Now this will give you sharpness in the middle when you're wide open. It will actually be surprisingly usable when the aperture is tightened down. You know, the higher the numbers, the smaller the aperture. And that brings me on to the second point about this, is the aperture ring on this is amazing for things like video because it doesn't click. Listen to this. Can you hear that? Oh yes. Looking straight through it. Ooh. Those are some oily blades inside there, but apart from the oil and the age, it's got a clickless aperture, which is really neat. If you're doing video, you know, if you want to change your aperture for whatever reason, if you're going inside to outside and you are filming and you change the aperture during, you'll see like it will get darker in like steps. With this, when you swizzle it down, that's what you do with an aperture, you swizzle it. It's nice and smooth. It just sounds quite neat. But overall, it's just a really nice creative little lens. The focusing type for manual that I use on the X-T3 is focus peaking. I know there's a couple of other ones. When I have my X100S, I think I use a micro prism. It's like the old film cameras where it would be kind of a bit out of focus and it would slowly slide into focus. I think that takes a bit too long for me. Focus peaking, whatever is in focus will have like a red outline around it. So would I recommend this lens to anyone? As long as you are good at manual focusing, or you have a camera that has a manual focus assist, absolutely. If you're rocking my old camera like the Canon 6D, which will just attach it and it will let you take a photo, but it's hit and miss, maybe use it creatively if you're doing like a college degree and trying to be fancy and make something beautiful for Instagram, go right ahead. But if you're using it professionally and you need it in a pinch, I probably would avoid it at that point. But yeah, you can pick up the Helios 442 or 44-2. Yeah, I don't even know what it's called. I just picked it up on eBay. I just typed in vintage lens and it was the most popular one there. Paying £50 for it is probably a bit on the steep side. Nowadays, they're probably worth more like £30 to £50. A good reconditioned one. I've seen like red painted ones, more like the £100. Really depends on what you want to do with it. I mean, if you've got an expensive camera, what's 100 quid, right? That's like a bargain. Anything under 3 digits, I consider like, oh, spare change, I'll just pick up 5 of them. But this little thing, plus that little adapter on the back, will give me just a few more things to do at weddings, to do at events. If I want to take some arty pictures of myself, for instance, I've got the tools to do it. I don't have to use it, but it's nice to. If you like that video, stick around. Have a look at some of the other ones, hit the subscribe, hit the bell button. I'm always doing reviews of camera stuff and camera related video, photo, gear and accessories and stuff like that. My Amazon list is so long that probably something's going to come through the door every week. So stick around and I'll see you in the future ones.